All right, and welcome to Pod Jobbers, baby. How y'all doing tonight? We got another episode, March 5th edition of Pod Jobbers Wrestling Life Podcast. We got Brett Moore in the house. Brett, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's everybody doing out there?
Finger pointer, yeah. And we got a new face to the scene, King Doozy. Matty Buendia, what's up, man?
What up, you Mark fools?
And I am your technologically deficient host, Jake. Normally we'd go live, but we've been having some technical difficulties. So tonight we are going to record our belligerent conversations, and then we will upload it later for your viewing pleasure. So starting things off for this week's edition, we're going to get right into it. It's time for Swerve Bro. Swerve Bro. Nod to Felipe, where we ask each other random questions to start. So, Brett, I'm going to start with you. What's your question for the group?
I was thinking about, we do the polls and everything, and we finished up that favorite entrance song one, and I don't think we've ever established your favorite entrance song. So that's it. What's your favorite entrance song? Go with Deuce first.
Favorite entrance song?
Yeah.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Favorite entrance. It's got to be Sexy Boy for HBK. I mean, when that song hits and you just hear the ladies go, oh, sure. I'm like, yeah, man. HBK's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
That sweet chin music up in your face.
That is a hell of an entrance song. I agree. I love that song. It's catchy as hell too. Like it's super good. The music's good. It's catchy. Gets you out of your seats. Gets the women's clothes off. It's nice. My favorite of all time. Oof. I actually like, and I'm not just saying this to toot your own horn. I really like the Rated R Superstar On This Day. Like that song for Edge. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of it and just everything. I really like that song. And then probably Stone Cold is a close second after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hit that glass break and you know it's ass kicking time. I'm sorry, but yeah, you're right on point with that one. Brett, what you got for us?
Yeah, I think I would probably also go with like the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme is like the safe one. Because, I mean, it's iconic and all that. But I really think my favorite entrance song of all time is probably Christian's Open Your Eyes. You know,
Ooh.
it's a good song. It's a good song. And, you know, Christian comes out and he looks for his peeps. And there we are waving at him. Because, you know, and it's just a good song. You know, it's kind of catchy. That's what I was going to go with.
Dudes Fest, you disagree over there? You're shaking your head?
I'm sorry, but there is nobody that I can get least pumped up for than when Christian's music hits. I'm sorry. You hear Christian's music, I'm thinking like, I would rather hear Bobby Roode's Glorious than I would Christian. And that's on a good day.
So wait. Do you not like the Glorious song, or do you just not like the wrestler that follows the music?
Oh, no, I don't like the rest that follows the music. Glorious is
Okay.
an amazing hit.
Okay. But I feel like those golden tunes, like it's a good question because those golden tunes have that like initial pop, right? It's like Stone Cold is great because of that glass break. It gets everyone out of their seats, you know, and The Rock even, you know, do you smell what The Rock is cooking to start things? I mean, those like, boom, it like hits you, the gongs for The Undertaker. I feel like those are going to be the things of beauty when you have those to start the song.
I mean, you know, also talking about songs, I mean, you got to look at something as old as like The Ultimate Warrior and how all of a sudden it's just immediate rage and you're hooked into it. It's like, oh man, the adrenaline pump and everything's going. But then again, you start looking at Triple H's like, what was it, Ode to Joy? Come on, man, nobody wanted to see that guy.
No, but then on the flip side of that coin, you had, you know, Randy Savage coming out to Pomp and Circumstance, and that was just perfect. I mean, you hear the and there's Macho Man with Elizabeth on his side, and you know, you just know, man.
Just know you're in for a roid rage night.
And then there's ones that are just good songs. I mean, Bray Wyatt's when he was before the Fiend, that what's that called? Like Come to Light, it's the doom doo doo doom doom. I mean, that's
that bass line, bro. That's a thing of beauty, that bass line.
Mr. Black's song is really sweet. You know, there's a lot of good stuff out now.
And Glorious was like, going back to that tune, that was like everything for Bobby Roode. I mean, outside of that, he sucks. And he should be on our list at some point in one of our segments. But like, his music is so good. It's like an epic score from like a Bill and Ted movie. And he comes out to it, and then he wrestles, and you're just like, this guy is just a plain old Jane. It's not even entertaining.
Couldn't agree more.
Right. For sure.
All right. So on the next topic of Swerve, bro, I'll take this next one. Brett, how do you book Orange Cassidy to win the AEW title?
You don't. I mean, he's all gimmick, man. I mean, he's one of those guys. He's like a non-heel Piper. You don't have to give him the belt. You know, he's over already. You know, I mean, he's arguably the most popular wrestler in AEW right now. You don't. He's fine with it. I mean, or he's fine without it. And plus, if you gave it to him, he wouldn't care anyway. So, you know, I read something about him when he was on the Indies and stuff. Like one of his gimmicks, I think he was like PWG champion or something. Like he'd carry the belt in his backpack, like down to the ring, and then take it off and like hand it to the ref and stuff before the match. So, I don't think he'd care. I don't think he'd give Orange Cassidy the belt.
All right, Matt. You can't give a guy like that the belt. Number one, who's going to be a guy who does this and then this is a champion? Number one, he's a guy that does so amazing inside the ring, outside the ring, doesn't need a belt. He's a mid-carder at best. I'll give him that. There's no reason for him to have the spotlight main event at any match. Unless, of course, it's like a 6-man, 8-man elimination type thing, because Orange Cassidy, like you said, all gimmick. But he's got so much pizzazz behind him, all these moves he's ready to give the people what they want. And he doesn't need to carry anything. Because, number one, you can't carry a belt in your pocket. And that's the only way I would like to see him have a belt. Tiny little wristwatch-looking belt like this, that's it.
What if he sloppily carried the belt to the ring though, like dangled it from his arm? Yeah, like just like dragging against the ground, you know, like contributing to the gimmick, and then he gets in the ring and like tosses it barely over his shoulder and just sits there looking all GQ.
Or what if he had like one part of it like hanging inside of his pants, and then it like hangs down between his legs as he's walking through the ring? That I could see. I would go with that.
I think you can book. So he is definitely a comedy gimmick, right? But he's also actually really good at wrestling. I think you could book him in a quick, like, he wins like a ladder match, gets the briefcase, cashes it in, goes over with the crowd on like a AEW Dynamite show, and then drops it like, you know, in the next pay-per-view or something. But I think you could get him over on that. I mean, at some point, if he's going to keep this momentum, at some point you have to entertain it. It's not like back in the day where you had Roddy Piper was never a champion because you had Hogan Flair, Warrior, Hogan Flair. Like you had the champions that existed, and Piper just was set at the Intercontinental side. But nowadays, if someone's over, they're throwing the belt on you, and that's happening.
Yeah, that's true.
But how with a guy who looks the way he does, acts the way he does, nobody's going to those little kicks that he does back and forth, it's just not going to. It's not a main event type of situation for him. You can't go into a main event type of situation with that sort of gimmick. You need something else. You need to, if you're gonna fake, do those little kicks, then actually kick the dude in the face. Surprise me. Give me something to look forward to.
That's fair. All right. Poor Orange Cassidy, not going to be a future title champion. Maybe a tag champion or something like that, but not a world champion, I guess. We won't squeeze all the juice out of him. All right, Brett, King Doozy. Let's hear your swerve there. I can't mix you two up. That's true. What's your swerve question, bro?
Oh, Swerve Bro question. Let's see. I gotta wonder why the hate on CM Punk. I don't get it. The man was amazing, did so much for WWE, pipe bombed, everything else, took the belt, ran, whatever, and then all of a sudden he drops off the face of the earth. It was like, screw CM Punk, I don't care. What do you got, Jake?
I think what he's done is it's been the out of wrestling approach with the fan base and kind of the rants he's going on. He's the most over character for a while, or most over wrestler. Even when he left the WWE and was in the UFC, people are still chanting his name. But recently, I think people have gotten a little tired of his arrogance and lack of commitment. And then also, he went super hard on the Miz in that response to Miz's video, kind of somewhat mocking CM Punk. And Miz has a lot of loyal followers that are in the wrestling world, in the community. And I would say that, half and half, but he's got a big enough base that I think, some of those fans probably didn't appreciate that from CM Punk. And it starts to build this kind of persona of him now that he really is the bad guy. And we haven't seen him that much on whatever his commitment to Fox is. And so I think it's taking its toll now, where it's like, all right, it's 6 years later, or however long later since he's been in the ring, and he's not coming back. So people maybe just get tired of it. I don't know.
Go.
Well, I think I like CM Punk. I understand exactly what he's doing. He's an individual, he's a unique guy. He has a certain way he likes to do things. He likes to do things on his own terms. I understand that. That being said, I can see how people would maybe take it like he walked out on him, like he walked out on the fans or something like that. I completely understand that. I don't agree with it, but I completely understand why people would think that. I think that would probably be the big thing. I mean, if it were me, and if you asked me if I were to not like CM Punk, why not? That would probably be what I would point to.
All good stuff, guys. All good stuff. Yeah, CM Punk, he's a giant asshole, but I still love him.
All right. Good Swerve Bro questions. Very good. Let's move on to our What's the Deal segment. What's the deal with Matt Hardy? Is he broken? Is he woken? Is he a midnight token? Bucks of Youth, I knew you'd come. So what do you think, King Doozy? You think Matt Hardy's going to AEW? You think he's sticking with WWE? Is he keeping the broken gimmick? What's he doing?
All right. First off, let me address the fact that when he came to WWE and wanted to bring the whole, broken gimmick and everything, I was like, okay, his laugh, corny. Corny with a capital K, all right? All right. So if he goes to AEW, something's got to change. Something's got to change in him, so that way fans can be like, this is not the same guy. This guy's fucked up. Pardon my French. But it's going to be entertaining to see that when he does go to AEW, calling it now, he's going to do something different. That's my prediction.
What do you think he's going to be doing? That's different.
You know what? I honestly believe that with the way AEW is going and with the showing of the blood and stuff like that, I think we're going to see a whole lot more hardcore stuff. I think Matt Hardy's he's going to want to entertain people, needs to prove himself there in AEW. We're talking something along the lines of what was that Ambrose Jericho Cage crazy stuff match? Only this time, this stuff's gonna be for reals. You know, we're gonna get messed up in this match. So that's the kind of way I want to see Matt Hardy come back. Give us the thrill of Matt Hardy coming back. Don't just give us this, you know, lame shit. All right, give me something.
Oh man, Brett, he's hating on the laugh, dude. What do you got to say?
I love the laugh. He knows that. But I thought it was hilarious. My take on it, Matt Hardy has 5 more years in him, tops.
Wow,
maybe
5, huh?
You think? I mean, he put his body through hell for quite a few years, you know, and he's been off a long time already, and you know, he's got less matches in him in front of him than he did behind him, that kind of thing. I think all signs are pointing to AEW, you know, and I think that's I think what people are kind of overlooking is the post-wrestling career of Matt Hardy, you know, because everybody that's worked with him says he has such a mind for the business. You know, like he used to listen. Was a religious listener to the Edge and Christian podcast, you know, and they would talk about their matches and everything. And the Hardy Boys were guests at one point, I think, but Edge and Christian would talk about their matches. And they would always talk about how Matt Hardy was the one that came up with this spot or that spot. Like the first TLC match when they had the 2 ladders and the table was on top of it, Matt Hardy came up with that. You know, so, and everybody always says he has a great mind for the business. I think that would be a big boost for AEW post match or post wrestling career Matt Hardy once he leaves the boots or once he hangs the boots up, because you have Matt Hardy, you have Dustin Rhodes, you have all these veterans that know how to put together matches, and I think that's going to be the one thing that's really going to push AEW over the edge.
Genius.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like I think WWE was failed because they took they love to take gimmicks and shove them down your throat over and over and over again when they're over. And when he came, what's going on? Yeah. When he came over, they did the Woken thing because they had the struggle with TNA Impact and the rights. So they couldn't do the broken deletion thing. And by the time they got the rights to it, he's already far down the Woken path. They paired him with Bray Wyatt. The very first interaction between the two was gold. It was great. But then they kept doing the same thing, and it just wasn't the same. I mean, they took the elements out of the deletion gimmick that was so great, which was the Hardy compound and the family, King Maxwell, and like the green beans and all that silliness. Like they took that out of it, and they just made it purely promos and wrestling. And so I think that lost its substance, and by that time, just Hardy couldn't carry it. And so I actually think that Matt Hardy's going to go full on back to the way it was with the deletion gimmick to start in AEW. And I think that it'll go over well with the fans. But I do believe he's going to AEW. He had a video today, or it was either earlier today or yesterday, where he posted about him calling 2 guys to come over and help him get the Zenith out of him. And it wound up being the Young Bucks. And they showed up. And so they're executive vice presidents for AEW. I mean, it'd be kind of weird to have that video take place only to go back to WWE.
Yeah, and here's the other thing with Matt Hardy. I mean, that tag team division in AEW is kind of weak. You know, you got a guy that knows how to book tag team matches like Matt Hardy does. That's only going to help.
Dynamite dropping money.
That broadcasting school has really paid off. If we were doing around the horn, I would like click the ding on your comment there, Brett. Well, I hope wherever Matt Hardy lands that he can go back to deletion style. To King Doozy's point, let's get something new in there. Let's mix it up. Let's get some new flair to this gimmick. Maybe make it a little more hardcore. I like that angle. It's gritty. I like it. Let's see what happens. But I think something's going to happen soon as his contract's already done. All right, Brett, the floor is yours, my dude. Let's hear about AEW Revolution, the recent pay-per-view, and how it went.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good show. I thought the takeover in Portland is still the best show I've seen this year, but this one was pretty good. You know, I didn't watch the pre-show. I actually watched it like the day after. You know, Sunday night, nothing to do, so I just put it on, and I'm actually really glad I did. You know, it started off with a really good Dustin Rhodes and Jake Hager match. Jake Hager's first match with AEW. It was pretty good. The ending was really solid. He like choked him out standing up and stuff. It was pretty sweet. I really dug it. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch any of the tag team matches or the women's match because they don't interest me. So I'm sorry. I'm going to have to leave that one out. But, you know, I can't get into their women's division. I can't get into their tag team division. I can't do it. I'm
terrible.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They all work hard. I appreciate all the hard work, but it's not for me. All the matches I did watch were great, though. the Darby Allin Sammy Guevara match. My note here is Darby Allin fucking rules. That dude is real good. Sammy Guevara did that sweet 630 senton bomb off the top rope into Darby Allin on a table on the floor. I mean, that was nuts, you know, and just the match is really good. Darby Allin's great. I wasn't a Darby Allin fan at first, but I'm a converted Darby Allin fan. After that was, excuse me, Orange Cassidy and Pac, and Orange Cassidy tried. You know, he put on a great match, and it was like a real nice slow burn to where like he started with the hands in his pockets, like the nonchalant, like Orange Cassidy thing, and then like Pac kicked his ass, and then he eventually worked up to, okay, now he goes and he can go. You know, like I've purposely not watched any Orange Cassidy indie matches because I wanted this to be the first time I saw him actually, you know, work a match and everything. And I'm glad I waited. He was really, really good. He can do a lot of stuff, you know. And after that was the MJF and Cody match, the grudge match. That was really good. You know how I feel about MJF. He's better than us, and we know it. Salt of the earth. I thought he was great. The build-up for the match was awesome. That is how you book a heel babyface storyline. They can still do it. It was so good. And the package they had before it, where they were, you know, explaining everything and the build-up to it and all that was really well done, and it was just a great match. And then, you know, you had Le Champion, Chris Jericho, and Jon Moxley in, you know, the AEW title match. I did not see them putting the belt on Jon Moxley. I guess more accurately, I didn't see them taking the belt off Chris Jericho this early. But it was a good match. You know, it wasn't. I thought the Darby Allin match was the best match for me, and then the MJF Cody match was number 2. But this was a solid number 3. You know, it was very, very solid. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched the show.
Yeah, and the tag team championship match between Hangman Page, Omega, and the Young Bucks. Holy hell! Did you watch that match?
Loved it.
Oh my god! I mean, the tension throughout the match and just how it built throughout, and when they were just going back and forth. There was table spots. You know, it was an elevated match. All 4 men were incredible at delivering a ton of intrigue and nearly perfectly executed moves, and just the finish was great. Everything was great about it. It was amazing. I was stunned.
And that's what I liked about the tag team match, especially, is we didn't see a whole. Let me rephrase this real quick before I even say anything. We didn't see 47 V triggers in that match, which made me love that match, number one. Okay? And you're putting together two guys, Omega and Hangman, against two guys who are helping build this company, the Bucks. And, oh, my gosh, it was fantastic. Fantastic. Like you said, the build-up was great. The match itself, the moves, they were fantastic. The spots, oh, my gosh, the spots were great. And to reiterate or to about Jericho, the belt this early, it had to be done. In my opinion, it had to be done, and it had to be done now, because you look at some of these young guys coming up, especially a guy like Moxley. You had to know he was going to get the belt that night. I knew it. Arby's knew it. Okay, you had to take the belt off of Jericho early, so that way, because the guy, okay, he's a champion. Great. 43. Old. Okay? I don't care for Chris Jericho anymore. Move on. Have him do some other cool stuff, but move on. And how can you not watch women's, okay? The women's division, yes, it's not that great. It's not NXT women's. It's not even WWE women's. It's not even Impact women's, okay? But they're building their own stuff, okay? You got to watch everything that they give, because they do go out and put on a phenomenal show.
Well, I'll tell you what the best women's spot of the night was. It was when Hager was kissing his wife a ton of times, and then when Goldust, or whatever he's called nowadays, took a kiss right from his wife in the middle of the match. That was classic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Classic Dustin Rhodes. But I think it's a good pay-per-view. They're on a good roll right now, which kind of segues into our next topic. It looks like from a ratings war perspective, AEW Dynamite's starting to kind of take the momentum here and build some wins over NXT. What do you guys think? Do you think long-term NXT is going to be the superior show? Do you think AEW Dynamite's going to be a superior show? Doozy, let's hear it.
No, NXT is not going anywhere. I mean, you got these great champions, okay, and all these great up-and-coming wrestlers are going through NXT. But you look at the WWE top roster, we look at each other and we know NXT is vastly superior, okay? Number one, at putting on great shows, cutting great promos, giving the guys that are, and girls, the light to shine, and they are shining, okay? Putting on a weekly episodic show for NXT, I thought was a bad decision, because we look forward to those pay-per-views with those NXT wrestlers. Number one, it brought us names, okay? We didn't, if we would have saw Seth Rollins on a weekly basis, who knows what would have happened. We would have saw people like, what's his name, Finn Balor, okay? I wanted to say Demon King because Demon King's way better, but I may not have fallen in love with Demon King if I would have saw him on a weekly basis. I think that is a big problem. However, it's bringing it to the masses, because not all the masses have WWE Network, which you should, by the way. How could you not? And if bringing it to the masses, like I said, AEW is doing the same thing. But eventually, we're going to see these wars die out. People are going to tune into what they want to see. They're going to fall in love with the characters they want to fall in love with. And it's Monday night all over again. Come on. Seriously, you need to get it through your skulls, because you're gonna make a choice. Hang on, real quick. You're gonna make a choice, because number one, you can watch NXT on replay. Okay, you can DVR AEW. We have all this technology, and so where do you go?
Yeah, and that last bit was pretty much what I was going to say. It's not going to be like the Monday Night Wars, because first of all, you don't have two guys that are trying to put the other one out of business. That's the first thing, and the second thing is, like you said, you don't have to choose between one or the other. You can watch AEW live and then go back and watch NXT or vice versa. I mean, that's the beautiful part about it being 2020 and not, 1996, 1998, whatever it was, so I as a wrestling fan, I would probably watch AEW live because they're the ones who need like the ratings more because, like you said, NXT's not going anywhere. They got the grapefruits behind them. They're good. They don't need those ratings, but AEW could probably use the rating. I watched a ton of Dynamite, but, from what I have seen, I've dug it. But I mean, it's mostly just been, MJF and Chris Jericho highlights, and those guys are always good. So that's my take on it.
How about you, Jake?
I love NXT. I love AEW. I think it's going to be very hard for NXT to separate itself as its own show within WWE. I think they're doing everything they can to do it, and it's doing a great job. But at the end of the day, even the wrestlers would tell you it's still the minor leagues of WWE. And I think it's only a matter of time before Dynamite starts to build a bigger fan base and starts really rolling. They have a lot of great storylines that are really interesting, and the wrestling is just fantastic across the board, sans women's division. But I do believe that NXT is going to flatline at some point, and they're not going to grow exponentially, where I think AEW has more upside potential. I think they have a higher ceiling where I don't believe NXT does.
Are you high? Because number one, Charlotte Flair is going to win the NXT championship at WrestleMania, okay? And when she does, she's going to be on NXT. People are going to want to watch that until Rhea Ripley wins it back to make NXT more popular. That's what you have to be looking at. It's that big picture stuff. Yeah, Charlotte Flair should be Raw SmackDown champion, but she wants to take on Rhea Ripley, and it's going to be fantastic. And the Queen is going to rise to the top, making NXT fantastic. Brett, rebuttal.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, that's the cool thing about, or that cool thing, or the advantage, I guess, that NXT has over AEW is they do have that everyday star power, at their fingertips. If ratings start to dip, you bring in a Charlotte Flair, or you bring in Seth Rollins, or you bring in whoever, and they can do that to get a good, ratings boost. I think, and what I think is ultimately going to be the one saving grace for NXT is Hunter's in charge and not Vince, because my understanding is it's Hunter's baby. Vince doesn't have a ton of input into NXT, or at least not to the point that Hunter can't override him. So, and Hunter knows what he's doing. He's the game. He's the real Santa, So he's I think he's got that pretty much under his thumb. And when you combine that with having that access to all these, world famous superstars and everything, it's not going anywhere.
I don't mean that it's going anywhere. I just believe it's going to hit a ceiling soon, and it's not going to compete with the other primetime shows for the bigger wrestling companies. And right now, I would say AEW probably is the one bigger wrestling company in comparison. I just think that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, that's a fantastic storyline. But if you ask Rhea Ripley, do you want to go to Raw and SmackDown next week? Her answer is not going to be, no, I don't. I want to stay in NXT forever. Maybe her character would say that, but her actual person in real life would say, I want on the big show. I want the SmackDown's Women's Championship. That's what she wants. I don't buy this notion that just because Charlotte Flair wants to win the NXT belt for a week, that means that wrestlers want to go back down to NXT. Balor went to NXT because he sucks. He's not good. I'm sorry. He's an okay wrestler. He's got a fun demon gimmick that he uses every so often. But other than that, when he was at the big roster, he wasn't great, and they gave him multiple opportunities to show that he was great. he went back to NXT because that's where he is loved. And he's able to just be a great wrestler, and that's about it. But you need more in it. When you hit the big stage like Raw and SmackDown, you need a lot more. And it's always going to be the major leagues. It's like saying if AAA baseball got really awesome and it was fantastic and players from the majors go back down, that's going to live up to the hype as the majors. I don't think so. I think it's always going to be the minors. WWE can do whatever they want. They'd have to rebrand the show, in my opinion, if they want it to be a third show.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I don't want to, take any more time on this than we really have to, because we know that NXT has brought us so many phenomenal stars that we've seen for, 5-6 years on their program, and the characters that have moved up have done amazing things. You look at the 4 horsewomen, they've all become champions. They're all amazing. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. When Tommaso Ciampa comes in, oh my gosh, it's going to be great. And when Johnny Gargano gets that push, because he is the man in NXT, I don't care what anybody says, Adam Cole, baby, isn't shit to me, okay? It's Johnny Gargano, okay? Johnny Heel, all right? He owns the show, and it's just going to get better. Once we see him doing some diabolical shit, come on.
Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode. There's a big list of other people that haven't done well. And Triple H has done incredible. I do think so. But it's a different, I feel like it's different. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on this one. You two obviously feel very pumped about it. I do like Johnny Gargano, and I do like the other dude with the long beard, Thomas. What's his name? I don't even know his name. It's terrible. Ciampa. There. Thank you,
Daddy.
But they have great talent. It's just I don't know. I think there's a ceiling. But all right, we won't beat this dead horse. We'll move on to our next segment here. This is the start of a new segment. It's gonna be modeled after Les Champions. You just made the list, and we're talking about a wrestler. When you see on TV, you ask yourself, is that a little kid wrestling? No, it's not. Is that Hercules from the Howard Stern show, that 9-year-old with a six-pack? No, it's not. Is that little Boba Fett from Attack of the Clones? No, it's not. It's shitty, stunted growth Marco Stunt. That's who it is. And he's just god-awful. Brett, help me out here. I mean, what is it? Why is this guy paired up with the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy? What's going on?
I mean, it's telling when you're the little guy in a group with Jungle Boy, who's a pretty little guy himself. He's just not believable. I mean, the only way you make Marco Stunt work is you put him in there to get squashed. If Marco Stunt gets in any offense, it's a problem. Because it is completely unbelievable for a guy his size to get any kind of offense on any, grown-looking person. That's the only way that he should be used. That's the one, and that's the one thing that keeps me away from AEW the most, is because they do things like this with Marco Stunt, where it just doesn't make sense. It's not logical, and that's my big thing. Like, I understand that he worked hard and he did all this stuff. Well, cool. He's still, 5'2" and 96 pounds. You can't put him in there with guys that look like the guys that he wrestles, expect him to get any offense in, and it be believable. It doesn't work for me, dog.
Yes, sir. Your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so a guy like Marco Stunt, I look at him and I think to myself, okay, we all remember some character with the little cheetah hairdo, Enzo Amore. Great on the mic.
Yeah.
Don't care for him in the ring. And what was Bobby Lashley's hype man? Remember seeing him in the ring?
Rush, yeah.
Awful stuff. They need to be on the mic. This is a skater poser looking motherfucker, okay? And he doesn't deserve a spot in the ring. I don't care what his hair, whatever he looks like. This guy's a joke. Get him out of my sight. I don't want him on my TV. I see him on my TV. It's time to take a shit break. All right.
I think this is the one Achilles heel that AEW could fall into, which is they have wrestlers as executive vice presidents. And when that happens, they're going to their friends or people in the indie circuits that are just, they like them and they perform well, they're going to put them up there in certain gimmicks and stuff. And I think that can actually hurt them, because they really should. What WWE does well is it does listen to their, well, I shouldn't say listen to their fans. That's good shit. But they look at ratings and they look at reactions and stuff, and they model their stars like that. They have their opportunities, but AEW, they can get trapped in that pretty quickly. TNA Impact did. They had a lot of jokey wrestlers that they put up there just because they were good on the indie scene. And this guy, like, there's literally, he's the most plain vanilla midget that you will ever see. And it's really bad. Like, put some clothes on him or cut his hair or do something. Like, it's not realistic for this guy to get in the ring and do a fisherman's suplex to someone else. It's just not realistic. You can't believe it. So book him like Hornswoggle, call it a day. That's it.
I mean, if you're going to have him in there with somebody, get him in there with that superhuman guy, all right? Have it be a real fake Palooza, okay? Because that one guy, he's only good for taking his shirt off and jumping on crazy stuff. This other guy, good for nothing.
Well, and the two other points that I had is what I was describing with you, just have them go in there and basically be a bump dummy. They've done that before. Crash Holly, that's how you give a guy that is that size, a job in this business. And then the other thing, my other point was, it's also taken away from Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, who are awesome, and they have to tote around Marco Stunt, who is completely unbelievable. It's hurting them.
Luchasaurus is so underrated. I forget the one line he said, but he had this hilarious line about how the dinosaurs were overlooked for years or something like that. Like
65 million years.
It's gold. I think they were in a standoff with Jericho in the inner circle, and then Little Weasel got the match, and Jungle Boy too. Like, Jungle Boy is good, but they're not running those gimmicks right. They got to play to those wrestlers' strengths and give them something else. I don't know. Is there any saving Marco Stunt? I know we talked about some options. Do they have a cruiserweight division in AEW? I don't think so, right?
You just, the only way you can save him is stop letting him get offense. If he doesn't get any moves in on anybody, he's fine. He's fine. But the fact that he gets more than one or two moves on somebody in a match is completely ludicrous. Completely ludicrous. News?
We got to look at also take a look at Spike Dudley. We all remember him.
Oh, yeah.
95 pounds wet, maybe. Okay? So, but you paired him with Bubba Ray and Devon, and it was a show, okay? He was able to create some offense, but on the backhand of it, you got the shit stomped out of him.
A lot.
But then he had his brothers come in and do what needed to be done to get that big W. You need to get that W, boys.
All righty. Well, every faction has had their little guy. So Marco Stunt, you're on the list now. But speaking of little guys and Sean Waltman's 1, 2, 3 kids, this date in history, Big Diesel, Kevin Nash, announced he was leaving the WWE, formerly known as WWF, for WCW. Brett, was that the best decision of his career, looking back, or do you think he should have stuck around?
Well, I mean, financially, it was the best decision he ever made, and for a while there, creatively and career-wise, it was the best decision he ever made, too. I mean, everything was fine until, half the WCW roster was in the NWO. Eric Bischoff was in the NWO, and everybody had, creative freedom or creative control and all that. It just didn't work. So ultimately, no. But for a while there, yeah, and financially, 100%, because that dude, is not hurting for money. Deuce, what you think?
100% agree. It was a great decision for him to go. He was able to be himself, do what he pleased. He walked through the gates with some other loser and, became friends with Hogan, and they started doing all this great stuff as just NWO. But then, like Brett Moore had said, you started to see everybody and their mom become for life. All right. Then it got worse. It got worse from there. If you can't believe it got worse, there was NWO White and NWO Red. The Wolfpack. Oh, come on, man. That's when it all started to go downhill. But Kevin Nash did great stuff. I mean, if you look at the accomplishments that he's done, he broke that one dude's streak. I forgot his name, but he had like this streak going on.
Gilbert?
And, that's the guy. That's the guy. Yeah. Well, I mean, some 3-move champion, whatever he was. He broke that guy's streak, and everybody's like, oh, Kevin Nash, he's awesome. And he was. And he did great stuff. But he did it with other people. Okay? So I got to give credit where credit's due. Kevin Nash being Kevin Nash, awesome guy. He was great as Diesel. Loved him as Shawn Michaels' backup. And then he took off on his own, and he had to do what we say nowadays is what's best for business, and he had to make his coin. So yes, I agree with Brett Moore on that one.
I think we need to shock you with Scott Hall's taser. Because just calling out the Wolfpack as a bad thing, I'm stunned. I thought NWO got bad when there was like 50 guys in it, and when Hogan went out of the NWO, then came back, and that's where it got bad. But the Wolfpack and the rivalry, do you remember what it was like just sitting glued to your television waiting to find out if Sting was going black and white or he was going red with Wolfpack? You had, what was his name? Lex Luger sitting there in the Wolfpack, Macho Man Conan. Like it was an unbelievable faction, and I thought that was gold. I'm stunned, Doozer. Like I can't believe that was a bad thing for you.
The only thing that NWO White had good going for them was Buff the Stuff. Quote me on that.
I think NWO is. You can tell NWO is doomed when Inferno joined, and they wanted him. That's when you knew it was bad.
I will give it to you, Jake. The Wolfpack, yes, I was a fan. I had their music downloaded. I had it on CDs, okay?
Yeah.
I had the T-shirt.
Yep, I had the T-shirt. I was rolling in it. And when you were like, Sting, where's he going? What is he doing? It was good TV, okay? I'll give you that. But, it's like one of those things like, we got NWO here. We got NWO here. We got him here and here. Okay. What else do we have? I don't know. We got Alex Wright. All right.
Yeah, that's a good call. So I would say, going back to Kevin Nash here, I think Kevin Nash did a great job. Him and the other drunken jabroni, Razor Ramon. They came in and they built an empire within WCW. And yeah, hey yo, survey time.
Hey yo.
Hey yo. I think the moment where NWO lost its glory was when Kevin Nash took a dive for Hogan.
Oh, the finger poke of doom,
The
brother.
finger poke of doom. That's where things went downhill. That's where you had guys like Disco Inferno, that other bald black dude, I can't remember his name, that's like still living off NWO royalties today. You had a lot of like random guys in there. I can't remember his name.
Virgil?
Virgil, yeah. Yeah, like just like random guys like that you're like, okay. Like there's one episode of Nitro, or it was Nitro or Thunder, where all of NWO walked down the ramp, and it was like a clown car. You're just like, all right, when is it gonna stop? Like to your point, Matt, like there was no one left on the roster that wasn't NWO or NWO Wolfpack or LWO or whatever else was existing at the time. Like it was too much. And that's, Ted Turner fell victim to just trying to make shoving gimmicks down your throat. Maybe that was Russo, who knows? But Kevin Nash, looking back, I think he's probably more of not a one-trick pony, but someone whose glory had a prime, and that prime had an expiration date. And when they tried to bring him into Impact Wrestling, do something similar, and then back to WWE, you could just tell it wasn't the same.
Well, Nash was cool. That was the other thing. I mean, out of all those guys, Nash is the guy that you want to hang out with.
Mm.
I mean, I don't want to hang out with Kevin Nash. I mean,
you want to hang out with Waltman?
He's too cool for school, man. But what, they brought him back for the Rumble as a guest entrant, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then they had to do that whole thing with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I was like, okay, this is dumb. And then he just kind of flew away into the breeze, and I was like, hey, has anybody seen Kevin Nash? And I was okay. I was like, not here, okay. But when he was in WCW, I kept flipping back between Monday Night Raw and WCW Monday Nitro because I wanted to see Kevin Nash. Oh, well, you got your jackknife band. Fuck you, I'm gonna jackknife people? Great.
What about when in WWE when he came back and prevented CM Punk from retaining after Alberto Del Rio cashed in on him, and they had the whole freaking promo of, my buddy Triple H texted me and he said, I need your help, and that's why I showed up. Like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, never went anywhere. Where did it go?
He straight up hit me on Twitter, man. Told me come on in. He Snapchatted me. He tricked me.
Triple H was sliding into his DMs asking for a swerve, bro.
There was no Libra.
Oh man,
I don't like talking about that. No, I'm just playing.
All
but
right.
You're right.
Yeah, so Kevin Nash will put that baby to bed, and Sean Waldman will have to take up a whole other episode for us because he's got some travels through the land of China and other things existed in his life that make him an interesting character. You brought up Goldberg, and recently the WWE decided to have Goldberg go over on The Fiend, win the title, which then had a snowball domino effect into Goldberg versus Reigns at Mania for the belt, and Cena coming back to face The Fiend. Our crystal ball, wizard behind the curtain, Mac Daddy Booker of all books, Brett Moore, predicted this happening. Where do we take it from here, Brett? What happens? Who goes over who? Let us have it.
Well, it wasn't exactly how I booked it. I had Cena wrestling for the title for number 17 at Mania.
That's right.
Which doesn't look like it's going to happen unless Goldberg drops it to The Fiend, before WrestleMania. But I don't see that happening because Goldberg's a draw, plain and simple. That's why you do it. You put him over during the Blood Money pay-per-view because Vince McMahon got paid good money to see somebody that they actually know do something of note. I completely get it. It's storyline-wise, it's stupid, but business-wise, it's the best move. I think Reigns and Goldberg is probably going to be a snoozer of a match. Fiend and Cena, I think, would probably be pretty good. Did you got something?
Oh, yeah. I do. So we get this Goldberg title reign again. I didn't ask for it. Did you guys ask for it? No.
Did not.
I think going back to this whole thing, I texted Triple H and told him, not to do this. But he was like, "Hey, it's my dad's call," and I don't like it. Number one, I didn't like a whole lot of stuff about the name of it's called Super Showdown, not Blood Money Pay-Per-View. Don't be a dick.
Same thing.
It's number one. Before I even get into it, we get the Taker for 20 seconds. Cool. Dude gets 100 million, whatever. I don't care. Goldberg comes back, spears the Fiend 47,000 times, barely does a jackhammer on him, and then we get a new champion. And then all of a sudden, the belt's different? Come on. Something was loaded in this gun a long time. Him versus Roman Reigns, spear versus spear, Superman punch versus jackhammer. Dude, I don't care. I don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The coolest thing Roman Reigns has done was get dumped with dog food by Baron Corbin. That was the coolest thing Roman Reigns has done in years. And Goldberg, the coolest thing he's done in years, I'm at a loss.
Wasn't he one of the Expendables?
I don't think so. Never seen it. But now the Cena thing, it's time to put this dog out to pasture too. Seriously. One gun, one bullet, Goldberg, Cena, side by side, pull it. Get them out. And then these guys come back for the Super Showdown that are just trying to get to these other people that have not seen these superstars in live. That's the only reason they're coming back. But it's not giving me any pleasure. I don't want to sit through 7 hours of horse shit. We'll see a bunch of great mid-card matches at WrestleMania. We'll get to the main event, and then we'll all be like, hard dick pants off, and then we'll go limp because it's going to be trash. And I'm sorry, but that's how I feel, and that's how I feel my lust for WrestleMania has dipped. I'm probably going to pop 2 Viagra to enjoy it.
I think the Fiend gave himself a jackhammer when I was watching the match. That was a cross-body suplex if I've ever seen one. I agree. I mean, I'm still ticked off at Goldberg for sticking it to me at Walmart's garden section. But I think that Goldberg, unfortunately, is super over with a lot of fans, and nostalgia is still a thing. And until nostalgia dies, Goldberg is going to keep showing up. I am on the other fence of I can't stand The Undertaker. I'm tired of the Phenom. I want him gone. And so, I just think that, we either have to make a decision to move on or we stay in the this is good shit era, which is bringing legends back and having them continue to fight, because you also got to think Super Blood Showdown, whatever it's called, that pay-per-view, they want to see these superstars. That's what they ask for. That's why they get paid tons of money. So if you're watching Goldberg win, everyone in the audience is going nuts. And so Roman Reigns is going to go over very quick on Goldberg. It's going to take just as amount of spears for Roman Reigns to beat Goldberg at WrestleMania and take the title. It's what they've wanted all along. They've just been buying time to put the belt back on Reigns. I am actually very intrigued by the Fiend versus Cena, because I do like the full circle concept when they fought in 2014 against each other at Mania. And now that Fiend's a little bit more demonstrative and different. And Cena, who's become The Rock, who used to criticize all the time for being a part-timer. I think that's going to be interesting. I think Cena's over. I'd love to see him go heel. We don't know if that's going to happen. But Goldberg's going to be around for at least 5 years. He's going to keep doing a one match per year thing at Superstar Showdown. It's going to keep happening.
No, better there than here. That's all I'm saying.
So what you're saying, though, is that a person like Drew McIntyre won the Rumble, kicks the shit out of Brock Lesnar, multiple Claymores. This guy is on fire. But you know what? I think Reigns versus Goldberg is going to be a better main event. You kidding me? Put McIntyre in there, make it a three-way, and have it be triple pieces of shit. Because Goldberg jackhammer both of them, maybe, and it'll still be garbage.
I think I'm with you. That's three pieces of shit because
Nah.
Drew McIntyre as a face is severely overrated. And he needs to go back to a heel quickly because he cannot do the babyface gimmick. It doesn't work. I don't want to see him punt MVP's face off in a VIP segment. That has no interest to me at all. He's got his own struggles with Brock Lesnar. I think that'll be a good match, though. He'll go over. He'll win the belt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Brett, what are your other thoughts on this setup here?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I want to see that Fiend Cena match. I think that's going to be pretty good. The only foreseeable future I could see is it hurting maybe Seth Rollins because I think it's going to be like an actual match and not a squash. And how you going to have Seth Rollins do what he did and, supposed to be one of the top guys there. Reigns and Goldberg, you guys hit it on the head. It's a money match. That's the only reason it's booked. And like Jake, like you said, they're over there in Saudi Arabia. They want to see something. They want to see something very specific. Go ahead and give it to them, but don't do it all the time. And they're not, so it gets a pass from me.
Maybe Randy Orton will come out during the match and RKO Goldberg's kid and then punt his head off into the third row.
Oh, poor Betty Phoenix.
Oh, Randy Orton's so good right now. I want to talk about it every week. What's that, Doozy?
Tell me that because of this, we're going to get Edge, Orton in some crazy match. I want something crazy because Edge is our rated R superstar. He brings it every time, and he needs to bring it to Orton because that would be awesome. But as we all know, Randy Orton is the legend killer. So what are we looking at here, guys? Brett, tell me, what are we looking at?
Oh, I think you're definitely going to see an Orton Edge match at WrestleMania. I see Orton going over, doing the legend killer thing. Let Edge go out on his own terms. And I can't wait to watch that match. That's the one match from WrestleMania.
Brett, are you saying Edge is going to be done after that match?
I mean, I don't know for certain, but if I was going on feeling, yeah, I mean, why not go out? If you're going to go out, get taken out by the legend killer. It makes sense.
Why not have him have like a thing going on? Lead us into something. Get us started at WrestleMania. Maybe like I hate to say it because we've seen it so many times, a double DQ, lead us in, take us to SummerSlam with these guys, okay? Have something going on so that way we're invested in it, and SummerSlam's the end-all, be-all of it all, and I don't know. I don't know what you're going to give us, but give us something. Jake.
Mm-hmm. I like that idea.
I was hovering over my stupid thumbs up emoji to give Brett some credit there. And then he swerved me, bro, with saying that Edge was going to retire after this match. I'm stunned. I think Edge is going to keep...
Just speculation.
Speculate. Well, you're his biggest fan, so I could see you knowing more than us. But I think Edge is going to go over, actually. I think he's going to go over on Randy Orton. Or, like Doozy said, I actually believe that it's possible it could be a DQ situation, which I would be a big fan of, actually. The few times I'd be a big fan of a DQ situation. But I don't see Randy Orton winning clean on Edge at all at Mania, and I also don't see Edge ending at Mania. They could work an injury angle so he could do his part-time gimmick, but I don't think I'd be shocked if he came back at Rumble, finally back after waiting all these years just to fight at WrestleMania, and that's it. What do you think, Matt?
You know that they're going to give us an Edge and Phoenix versus Randy Orton and some other chick. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. We know this. We have to look at it deep within ourselves like, this is gold. Vince has got to look at it and be like, this is fucking money, man. Because it is. And it sounds – I'm getting goose flesh just thinking about it. Because in my mind, Edge and Phoenix taking Randy Orton, some hoe bag. I don't care who it is.
Nia Jax?
Oh, my gosh. Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss. You know? Because we've seen Alexa Bliss work with Braun Strowman. Okay? That worked on so many levels. Give us, but, she's got her own thing going with that other chick.
Or Nikki Cross.
Right. So, you got to give that. I hate to say it. I hate to see another legend come in with Randy Orton, though, like a Trish Stratus or something like that. Simply because that wouldn't give me the, for lack of a better word, erection that it would being like a main event Carter like Alexa Bliss or even Asuka. I don't care. Give partner up Randy with some chick, go against Edge and Betty, all right, and let's just throw down. Let's just throw down the way it should be, and it'll make it even better. Hardcore match. Oh, Jake.
How about Orton's partner could be the female Santino Marella?
Oh my God.
Get some revenge on Betty Phoenix. I think that's definitely going to happen at some point, a tag match. I don't know if I'd want to see that be the ultimate build that they go towards. I think that's a good like live show, like post WrestleMania. Like, all right, let's get this tag team together, or maybe like a quarter of the year pay-per-view. But I do want to see at a minimum 3 matches between these two. I think it should be like a rubber match situation where they wrestle and it caps off at SummerSlam. I think that's a really good call. The storyline is, Randy Orton without Edge has sold the storyline so incredibly well. I mean, this is what he does so well. You keep him heel for this reason. And they have this, they really are bringing the voices in the head struggle with, I want to apologize. I'm sorry for my actions, but you don't know me, so don't test me type thing. It's going so well, and he's doing great with it. And I don't want it to end. I want it to keep going. I want to see more legends coming in, and whether it's Beth Phoenix or it's Natalya or it's Matt Hardy or it's Goldberg or whoever, him just destroying all of them in his path. I think it's beautiful writing. And I wonder if it's because he's getting creative freedom here with
it. That would make sense. Orton's probably one of the best in the business, top 5 active in my book at least, And just to kind of go back, I don't want Edge to be done after WrestleMania. I really, really don't. But if you're going to do it, that's how you do it, is with the Legend Killer. I'm really anxious to see the build-up after Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania. I think it's going to be really sweet. I might actually watch Raw.
Now, when we're thinking about this, and we're doing all this build-up, we got Elimination Chamber, we got the Raws, the build-up to WrestleMania from the end of the Rumble until the WrestleMania kickoff show, everybody's on their seat. They're ready to see everything come full circle, like we've always talked about. Everything that happened in the year, we're ready to see end. Edge coming back is not an end at WrestleMania. It can't be. You can't give the fans something as cool as that was at Rumble just to see it end at WrestleMania. It's I'm as a fan and a fan of Edge personally, that's something I don't want to see happen for him or for the business, because then you're going to do it over again. What happens when AJ Styles decides, all right, I'm going to hang him up? Oh, you want me back for Rumble? Well, okay, I'm going to end it at WrestleMania. So that would be the line that we're going to see continuing on and on and on and on. It can't be something that happens. You know it, Brett, and I know it. So watch your shit.
Yeah. All right. Dang, son.
Oh, but I will say, so we'll it's our last segment of the night, but it's a really good one. When you talk about emotional send-offs, I think once Edge does decide to retire on his own volition one day, that his last match should have something very similar to Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels at Mania in 07. I think that like emotional match is what I think Edge could get sent off on. It's too bad Christian isn't like a few years younger and could be the one to do it eventually. But yeah, I think we're in store for a lot of Edge over the next few years, given that he's back from his injury. If he wasn't back from his injury and he was still wrestling, I think I'd be more inclined to believe you, Brett. But because he just came back, I think he wants to wrestle. I think he legitimately loves doing this, and he feels like he got robbed of retiring too early. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Now, when we're talking about emotions here, and we get our ups and downs and stuff like that, I can't help but, for number one, there's things that I have a hate, I have a love, and I have a really don't give a shit about when it comes to WrestleMania. I'm going to give you the love. The love is how exciting everything about WrestleMania is, okay? We have all these matches. It's going to be great. The thing I hate is that we have Goldberg headlining. I don't really care. But we all know that it's going to be Becky Buendia taking home the belt, and that's going to be WrestleMania. That's going to be great. The thing I don't care about is the Bella twins being in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how this hadn't been brought up. What have they done for me lately? And besides shake their DNA and give me something to look at. Twin Magic was great in its time. Not Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, is this what we're doing? We're doing a love, hate, don't care about. You want me to do that?
I think we should.
Okay. Love Edge. Obviously, I want to see Edge wrestle another match. I've been waiting for it for a long time, and I definitely want to see it. One thing I hate, how long it is. I mean, I know it's a common complaint about WrestleMania, but god damn, it's long. And the thing I don't care about is probably the Goldberg Roman Reigns match. Jake, go ahead and do it, bud.
I definitely love the Edge Randy Orton feud. I'm gonna also say that I love the Fiend versus Cena. I actually am looking very much forward to that match. I do hate Becky Lynch. But she's not what I hate the most, but I do hate her. She's not the man. She's a woman, and she's a terrible face. And she needs to be a heel, or I need her to get the hell off my TV screen. As we talked about last week, they chose to go down a path that was really bad when they could have gone down the Conor McGregor mocking gimmick path, and she could have been great. What I don't care about is I don't care about the Goldberg Reigns match as well. I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but I don't really care. It's going to be a 7-minute match. There'll be one maybe good spot where Reigns spears him through a barricade. That's it.
Becky Lynch is the man, has been for a long time. Unstoppable force in WWE. Busted her face up on SmackDown. Became the man. Has shown us week in, week out. She shows up, wears that crown, that pimp stuff. Man, she's rocking it. I don't know
what crown is she wearing? What crown? Baron Corbin's stupid fake King of the Ring crown?
Oh, please. Her crown's more real than my fucking dick piercing, all right? Seriously. Becky Lynch.
Of course a guy with a dick piercing would like Becky Lynch. Let's just put that on her.
I'm just saying that Becky Lynch she may not have had it all in NXT, but she comes to WWE, first ever SmackDown champion, okay? Trades 2 belts. 2 belts, Jake. 2 belts. First woman to ever do that. Becky 2 belts. She decides, you know what? Fuck it. I don't need this piece of shit blue belt. Give it to some other trick. Go ride the Raw train, make that money, show the people that I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, who's going to stop her? Asuka's not going to stop her. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but last year, when you look at that triple threat match and how amazingly shitty Ronda Rousey is and how Becky picked up all of that bitch's slack, you can't look at me in the face and tell me that Becky Lynch is not one of, if not the best female wrestler you've ever seen.
I'm looking at you in the face, and I'm telling you that she's not even near one of the best women wrestlers that I've ever seen. What I will say to you is that when she was a heel and she first started the man gimmick, she was her best. Unfortunately, they took her in a babyface direction, and it has been super stale. Super stale showdown. Asuka, she can't even put Asuka over, who's probably the best technical wrestler from a women's perspective on the planet. She can't put her over. Ronda Rousey was not that bad in the ring. Awful gimmick, but she wasn't that bad. Becky needs to be a heel, and hopefully that's what this is all culminating towards, is this pulling the dark side out of her with all these recent feuds she's been in. But man, like, what else can she say anymore? She's pulling the I've worked so hard to be where I am crap that every stale wrestler pulls.
We know it's going to come down to her and Shayna Baszler, and it's going to be fucking incredible because Shayna Baszler is going to beat the shit out of her. Even I know that.
Brett, come on here, save us.
Oh, I'm fairly ambivalent to this. I like Becky Lynch just fine, but I get both points here. You know, I'm a fan. I think she's great, but you know, I also agree that she needs to be a heel, or at least like a Steve Austin anti-hero babyface or something like that. She's not a good babyface.
Ooh, an anti-hero. Oh man, which is good one second, bad the next. Ooh,
like the man.
This coming from a guy though who has a lime green John Cena T-shirt.
I do. I sure do have it. I'll wear it next time too. I'm cool with that. I was gonna wear it tonight, but I wanted to rock my hippie hoodie because I'm bringing it back.
Oh, man.
So, Jake, who's going to dethrone the man?
Who's going to dethrone the man? Well, Shayna Baszler is going to do that soon. I think if they could if they put Baszler in the realm that Ronda Rousey was supposed to be, I think she could carry the roster for a little bit. But they gotta keep her as a monster heel that can't be stopped. And if they can do that, she'll be okay. But if she's going down the path of, you know, she can be beaten easily by Alexa Bliss or someone like that, then that's gonna screw her over.
Yeah, I don't care what they do with Shayna Baszler as long as they keep those two junky looking chicks that she hangs out with down in NXT. They're horrible. Horrible.
But if we do see this, you know, Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler type thing going on, you know it's going to lead to a Hell in the Cell match. And it's going to be phenomenal.
I would like to see that. That would be good.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we did a lot of talking tonight. A lot of promos from the three of us. Hopefully, I don't lynch myself over Becky Lynch in this next week here. But thank you so much for tuning in, boys. It was a blast tonight. Hopefully, next time our technical issues are behind us and we can go live at the same time. Any last words from around the horn? Brett, we'll start with you.
MJF is better than you, and you know it.
All right, Doozy, what do you got, sir?
Fuck MJF. I'd rather watch Marco Stunt eat cheese off of Cody Rhodes' chest than watch MJF do any type of promo work.
Oh my gosh.
But in closing, I would like to say thank you for allowing me to be on this podcast. It's an honor working with you gentlemen. I have had so much fun tonight. My wife was calling me a nerd because it was like, you got way too many hobbies. Blah, 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 blah. Bitch, you ain't got no hobbies. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But again, thank you guys so much, and I much love to both of you. You guys have ran a fantastic program. I'm just happy to give my 2 cents in.
You're a fantastic addition, man. I had a blast with you tonight, so I hope you'll continue with us on this journey. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's all for Pod Jobbers. We'll see you next time.